for an incredible night. Oh, we're taking it up a notch. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Wes and Mike TZ coming all strong.
And we are live. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the conference call. It is Thursday, March 9th. I'm still in February. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
I am fantastic.
Awesome. Well, it's good to see you guys again. You getting a little echo back there?
I'm still getting a little bit. Yeah. If y'all don't hear it, I guess it's fine. But yeah, it sounds like
I think it's just on your end.
It sounds like I'm coming out on a speaker on one of y'all's end or something, but whatever.
No, you're good. You're good. I think you're good. So what's up, guys?
Hey, nothing up. I'm trying to get this show going. You got me off guard asking me what's up. I'm figuring out what old boy talking about.
I want to make sure before we get started. All right.
Ain't nothing going on but the rent.
Listen, well, let's pay some bills then. All right. Tonight's show, we are talking about male desirability and what that really means. Let's just get into it. What does male desirability mean to you guys?
I don't know. Like, it means a lot of things. Like, we could come at that from a lot of different directions, right? Like, I don't know. TJ, give us a good definition for desirability, since you're our linguist, our cunning linguist.
Not me being the cunning linguist, but you got a PhD. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, desirability. It is, so my definition of that is I guess how attractive, and I don't mean that just physically, how maybe attractive you are to other people, how someone or how people might see you and be kind of naturally kind of drawn to you or gravitate to you or find some type of quality or qualities within you that make you desirable.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is what are the components of desirability in a way, right?
I think what he's hitting on is really it, right? Qualities, the qualities that other people find desirable in you based on what they have been taught or have learned that people think is something that they want, whether it's money, looks, style, security. It's everything you bring to the table that somebody else would want in a partner.
Right. Yeah, but let me ask this question. I mean, in today's modern age, desirable, I think, is a lot different than what it probably meant years ago. I think this culture is very vain to a certain degree. So it's really about the looks first. I mean, when you look at, apps, what's the first thing that people are attracted to? It's really about the looks. If you don't have like that it factor in looks, they swipe left. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you think that desirability is centered on looks?
In today's society, I would say absolutely. But are there other things to it? Yes. What happened? Lights went out on you?
Yes. Hold on.
Are you not being
Continue on. Continue on. I have a saboteur amongst me. Hold on. Miss Girl.
So what were you? Go on, Chris. What were you saying?
No, it's just unfortunate that in today's society, we don't take into effect a lot of the other things that make people desirable. Yes, financial resources is a means of desirability, but it's also how emotionally present the person is that makes them desirable. It's how they interact with people and how they interact, especially with family and friends. That I think that makes a person really desirable. It looks, of course, because that's the first thing you see. Yes, but once you get those looks, if there's nothing else there, the person becomes less desirable. If that makes sense.
Do you think there are baseline qualities that, as maybe a society, we agree on what is or what isn't desirable? I mean, not every aspect, right? But there are some things that are maybe like common that most people would agree is or isn't desirable in a man.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
Cool.
What are some of those things? You or TJ could answer that.
Well, I was going to ask you.
Ask me what? Which things I think that people
provide.
agree on? I think that there are particular body types that are right away understood as being desirable, some more than others. I also think that there is a standard for masculinity, like we talked about last week. And I think that there's a standard for material wealth and how you look, how you present, what your social presence is. And I think social capital is part of desirability as well.
All right, so
I don't disagree.
So to go back to answer your question, like what are the things you think society looks at or considers desirable as like a top 3 maybe?
Yeah.
And if we're just doing it as far as like appearance wise, it's going to be, especially when it comes to a man, it's their face. That's one. 2, it's their overall body type. And then 3, it's how they actually move, if that makes sense.
What do you mean how they move?
Yeah, please say more.
How a man walks. Because men get judged on how they walk.
I know I do.
I've never heard of that before. A man being judged about how.
Oh yeah. I mean,
honestly,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say is I remember like as a small child growing up, you know, it's always instilled in you. Oh, stand up tall, walk straight, walk like a man. You know what I mean? Like just kind of have like that swagger, and you know, there's a certain type of walk that quote unquote a man has that society portrays or puts on him to walk a certain way.
Okay, so that sounds to me like it's tied to masculinity, which I do think that masculinity is innately tied to, you know, what's desirable in a partner, like, or in a man, because that's what we're talking about. It's not, we're talking about what's desirable in a man, and I do think that masculinity plays a big part in it, and why masculinity is denied to some folks and not to others.
True. TJ, what do you think?
Well, you kind of threw me off with the walk example, but the more I think about it, the more I agree. In fact, about 2 or so, maybe a year or so ago, I actually wrote a blog post called "I Walk Like a Man," I think is what it was called. And the reason I say it threw me off because I guess that was never ingrained in me. It was never a thing for me to like walk like a man, or I've never been told to like, you know, present a certain posture or whatever. But I will agree that there is a certain way that a man presents or walks that is, I guess, kind of stereotypical, but not really in a bad way, not a, you know, a bad stereotype, if that's such a thing. Honestly, for me though, I've never had a manly walk. Well, I've never had a manly walk. Like I've always had like I remember being told, like I think it was in middle school or high school. I remember like walking down the hall with a certain sachet. Let's just say that. And I remember
sachet.
people.
Is that what it's called? Sachet?
I have a natural sachet. And I just remember people like remarking on it. Yeah, when I'm in my shit, when I'm feeling real good, the sachet turns on. Don't let me be on a treadmill, oh bitch. But yeah, the walk thing kind of, I was like, oh yeah, no, you're right about that, because there's a certain confidence that a man can project.
See, but I think that y'all keep bringing up these terms, and it's like they're like landmines in my mind, right? Because when you say confidence, like confidence and masculinity and all these things are like, they're just like concepts that we've been taught mean certain things. And so like when you consider, okay, what does that really mean when you say that somebody is exuding confidence? Like, what does that mean for you? Like, what traits or what comportment communicates that to you?
So I really love to observe people and to people watch. And I feel as though a lot of people, and I love to read body language too. I feel like a lot of people they just have like this kind of not timid, but it's more of a reserved kind of walk. Like, a lot of times when you're walking, you're either like looking down at your phone, or you're not really present. And you don't have a presence. That's the thing. You don't really have a presence because you are not present. I feel like a lot of times that when you see someone walking with confidence, you can tell how present they are. You can tell how there's almost this air, this force field, this aura around them that is like it's very noticeable to me, at least.
So that to me sounds like that's how they make you feel. Like, how much of that has to do with them versus like your perception of them? She said like
I don't
aura, like a feeling that they give you. So are you saying like that is how they make you feel?
No, perhaps, but it's in comparison, I feel like, to everybody else around them, right?
Okay.
So it's like you see John Doe walking down the street, and then you see this confident motherfucker
John Doe walking down the street. I'm going the other way.
So wait,
if you see them.
No, I think you hit on Chris. Interesting. It's about the confidence and how it makes you feel. So I guess my next question is, what are some of the consequences of being undesirable?
Oh, there are lots of consequences.
I was going to say that.
Go ahead. Well, you start.
I think that one of the consequences of being undesirable is not being able to get things that you want. And when I say things that you want, I mean relationships, I mean jobs, even love, right? Because let's face it, like the society we live in has already decided that anybody who doesn't have a particular kind of body is not really worthy of like love and affection or attention.
But see, here's the thing. You said society.
So that's a consequence because we live in society.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Or like short men can't get jobs that they want because they're not executive.
Wow, that was serious shade.
I don't think that's shade. I just think that's
you bit the side eye. You gotta pick up on
towards me.
It's the little.
Was that towards me? Oh dear, I have removed myself. I know I've removed myself from that matrix. So any job that I want, I will get.
There you go.
That's why that target did not hit me, because it does not apply. So
okay. I hope they make those jobs in miniature.
They make them in just the right size. Size.
Snack size. Okay, go ahead.
That's right. I am a snack. But no, I agree. Like there are certain things that society has deemed desirable or attractive.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, yes, we kind of unconsciously go along with them because that's what you've been taught since coming out the womb. That's what you've seen since coming out of the womb. You see, as a kid, you watch cartoons and you see, heavier set characters on cartoons being treated a certain way, or shorter people on cartoons or shows treated a certain way. And you don't realize how those images are being baked into your psyche. And so when you grow up, you're exuding, or you're illustrating those same qualities, and or if you are someone of a certain size or stature, then you've internalized all of those messages. And so you probably think certain things, unfortunately, you think certain things about yourself and about the people around you who have those same qualities.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why we think things about ourselves that nobody else thinks about us.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think we can sum it up in like 2 words: self-hate. You know, when you fall in that category of, if you feel undesirable, you know, you tend to question yourself, like, why me? Why do people not like me? Why do people not desire me? Like, what is it about me that I need to change? And it's not about you changing necessarily, unless it's like an attitude adjustment, because that can be very undesirable. And people that have those type of traits a lot of times aren't even aware and conscious of their attitudes. They think that one, they think they're hot shit, and they're not really.
Right.
But yeah. All right. So I think that was actually. Anybody got anything else to say about that?
No, not at the moment. I may come back to it, though. I reserve the right to return to this topic.
You always do. Always do. So what about, does money matter when it comes to being desirable?
In a capitalist society, absolutely. Yes. We live in a capitalist society. So yeah.
Me too.
What?
I said I ain't gonna even pin that on society. It mattered to me too. But I mean, that's a result of society, but still.
Yeah.
Oh, so if you don't got no money, you don't want to talk to him?
No.
Well, good thing Brian got.
How many bills can you pay with love? What did you say? I said, how many bills can you pay with just love?
In a perfect society,
unless you're a professional lover.
You get paid for your love.
Now, if you're a professional lover, you can get paid for it. But
go.
It's the reason why it's the oldest profession.
Listen,
right?
Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo.
I'm just saying. Listen, we were all endowed with certain qualities, and there's nothing wrong with using them. No, I do. I unfortunately
use your.
Shut up. Unfortunately, money does matter. But again, it's because we live in a capitalist society, and that is just the thing. Now, one thing it's not the only thing that matters. Let me say that. And it's not something that's like super high on the, list of priorities. So I'm certainly not a city girl.
Oh, really?
I am not. Let's not do this. I am not a city girl. I'm not a city girl. But no, unfortunately, yes, money does matter because of the society that we live in. Because you as an individual, you may get to a certain point in your life to where you're able to do certain things, and you might meet somebody who might be a little bit less than that, or may have less than that ability. Now, for me, that doesn't necessarily mean, oh no, we can't date. It's just that there may have to be some adjustments. Maybe we can't do all the things that we both want to do, but we have to maybe meet in the middle. And so that's why I say I'm not a city girl. But yeah, unfortunately, it does.
No, I would agree with you, Jake. I think it does matter because, one, you don't want to be the one person flipping the bill for everything to begin with, and because it puts a strain on, it can put a strain on a relationship. Yes, love is important, but you have to know that at some point, either a person's going to contribute, or you guys have an understanding that, all right, well, that's not important to me. I'll take care of all this and that. But I think even with that understanding, there can be resentment down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's important in our society.
Resentment, how so? Say more on that.
Well, I mean, when you ask one person to flip the bill to take care of, everything financially, it can lead to resentment down the line. Even though you might have an agreement saying, all right, look, I'm going to take care of this, you take care of home. It can be rough because you're putting just added burden pressure on one person to provide. What happens if that person who's in charge of bringing the income loses their source of income? Then what the hell y'all going to do? Because love is not going to sustain that relationship for very long. Money is one of the number one causes for divorce and separation in this country.
I mean, when you said that, I was thinking something different. When you mentioned resentment, it made me think about how the person who is because I think resentment can end up in both camps, right? So the person who's making all the money can be resentful for having to do things, even if they agreed to it initially, they maybe didn't know that they would feel how they felt about it later on, right? So
Yes.
I think that's one thing. And then part of that problem then becomes that the sacrifice is like, okay, I have to pause on something that I want while this person does what they want to do. So they feel like that they're sacrificing a portion of themselves in order to, you know, sustain this relationship. Then on the person on the other side could feel resentful because they feel like they are obligated to behave in a way that seems grateful, or that they are making up for what they're not bringing, and it's kind of putting them in a position where they don't have a whole lot of say so in the relationship. And I think that traditionally you see that in like conventional relationships and the asymmetry of power that happens between men and women when the husband is the primary financial provider.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. TJ?
I feel like I was going down a trail and I got lost. So so yes, okay. So let's say yes, one person is the primary breadwinner or whatever. If that's the dynamic that we've already established, and at a certain point that dynamic no longer works for us, I don't see that there is anything wrong at that juncture, like having a conversation. Hey, I'm feeling this certain type of way, or, you know, now I'm feeling a little resentful because blah 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 blah. Just because we agreed to, you know, this dynamic in the beginning doesn't necessarily mean we have to continue that dynamic. And that could be breaking up. That could also mean breaking up. But I would imagine like someone who enters into that type of relationship, though, like why would you enter into that type of relationship?
I think that type of relationship is desirable for a lot of people, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But then they change their mind.
Okay. Well,
because you know, it's sort of like a shiny pair of new shoes, right? Like you pass the store all the time, you see these shoes, you're like, I want them fucking shoes, man. And then when you get them, they pinch that baby toe.
Oh,
but you don't know that until you go out the store with them, because they're comfortable in the store, right? Because the carpet is real plush. You tried them on. You had on some pantyhose and not no athletic socks like you would normally wear with them, and then you get home and you put on what you would normally wear.
Right.
Oh my God! Everybody can relate to that.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Screaming, you like, this don't work, but you already wore them shoes outside. You can't carry them back unless you got them from Nordstrom. If you got them from Nordstrom, you can carry them back. But if you got them anywhere else, you can't carry them back.
He's not speaking from personal experience. Let's move on.
So I wanted to just highlight a couple of comments. I meant to do Brian's first. Roshan's popped in right when I clicked the button. So Brian said communication is key, which is, I guess, the point that I was trying to make. You know, once you get to that that juncture, like you said, okay, this doesn't work. I thought this is what I wanted, but it doesn't work. Then all right, let's have a conversation about why this isn't working for me or both of us. And okay, this might be the end of the relationship, or it could mean like moving forward with a new dynamic. Like, okay, maybe if one person wasn't working and they were very okay with that, with the other person providing all the financial stability in the household, then okay, well, maybe you continue to work and maybe now I get a job, or, you know, whatever. So that's why, like, I do completely feel that money matters, yes, but it's not the end all be all, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got?
That's all I got. We can move on now. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
There are no other comments?
Oh, well, the one after that was Roshan. She was just agreeing with that. Yeah. Prior to that was just everybody saying, hey, y'all.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
What's up, people?
Also, I just want to say for, I guess, us as well as the people who are watching, I think the comments, I don't know if this is just for me, but the comments don't seem to be coming in real time. So sometimes the comments are just like stagnant, and then all of a sudden a bunch will rush in. So if don't feel as though we're not reading them, because sometimes they don't come through until a little bit later.
Okay,
Cool.
All right, so let me ask this question. What makes a man or anyone desirable in your eyes? Let me start off with that one. I think
I'm ready for this answer.
No, I think for me, what really stands out in someone who is desirable is an air of confidence. Confidence will take you so far. You don't have to be the most attractive person in the world, but when you have that confidence and that swagger, that makes you very attractive. Very attractive and desirable. So for me, it's really about confidence. It's about how you hold yourself, how you kind of just like move through a space, and you've got the shoulders up and you can talk confidently. That is desirable.
That's just confidence?
Yeah.
So they could look like the inside of an ape asshole and you still be okay?
Well, no, because
okay,
you're not even paying attention to them, really. I mean, when you walk, someone can be, an average-looking, decent person. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, if someone is kind of busty, you're not really going to go over towards them anyway. But, like I said, the first thing you see is someone's outside the exterior. You walk over, and then when they have that confidence and swagger, that makes them even more desirable. So, I think in my eyes, that's what makes a person attractive. What about you guys? TJ,
so when you said confidence and when Rex asked that question, I was going to I do completely agree. Because there is so I can just see somebody and be like, okay, this person this person is attractive to me or not. And if they are not, but here's the caveat. If they are not, but they have the confidence to like be assertive and or come up and talk to me and or make the first move, it elevates. Yeah. My very first relationship, my very first boyfriend, I was not initially attracted to him at all. However, he came up to me one day. We worked together. He came up to me one day and he was, not that he was unattractive, I just was not attracted to him.
Yeah, to be clear.
Yes, let's be clear. So he came up to me and he was like, yeah, so can I take you on a date sometime? And I was like, no. At first I said no. But the second time I was like, oh, he really does want to take me out. I was like, okay, sure. And we were together almost like a year or so, something like that. So confidence, I think confidence for me, at least, it takes you a long way. That might have something to do with the fact that I'm a Leo. I don't know. But confidence to me can get you a lot farther than a lot of other things. For me, what makes somebody desirable also is emotional awareness and emotional maturity and emotional intelligence. I really, and especially as I get older, those types of things count a lot more for me. So someone who is aware of themselves, aware of their emotions, aware of how to empathize and speak with other people, how to mitigate an emotional problem, whether that's professionally or personally, that is very attractive to me as well. And then also a sense of style. I honestly, when I just look at any random person, one of the first things I notice is like what they got on. And it's not that I'm looking for like a lack of style or whatever, but if you have on something that that makes you stand out, then to me, you're standing out. I'm like, oh, okay. You actually thought about what you put on as opposed to, you know what I mean? You're wearing the same thing that every John Q Public has on, So for me, I think those three things are my top three. That's what makes someone to me like desirable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Rex.
Okay, so shocker, right? You know that for me is going to be the ability to hold a conversation. Like if you have limited communication skills, it's going to be a struggle. You say I like to talk? Is that what you said?
That's what I said. Am I lying?
No.
All right.
He wants a good vocabulary.
Yeah, like I love a person that can communicate. I love I really have to have a person capable of expressing themselves, and that would make room for me to be my full self and not have to be apologetic for my flaws because I'm willing to offer that.
That's very mature.
Okay, it'll probably be the last mature thing I say today, but and I think that I'm gonna be real honest, like I think it's important for me to feel like what I bring to the situation is valuable. And if that doesn't happen, like I'm like, that might not be working for me. And you need to have a good job, a nice car, and good shoes.
I knew this was coming. And what?
And good shoes. So if you don't have all three of those things, don't step.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna just back up if you got on bad shoes. Like you can step and be like, bye.
Yeah.
What's a bad shoe? What's a bad shoe?
Anything with a monk strap.
See, let's not go there again. Let us not go there again. I love me a good monk strap, a double monk strap at that.
Your hatred of monk strap is
I don't
it's
get
a prejudice. Like why?
It's not logical.
It's not.
I just feel like
what?
Yeah, anyway, I'm not even going there with you, but you gotta have good shoes. Good shoes are a requirement, and by good, I don't mean
expensive
name brand. I mean good taste in shoes. Like
you should have soles on the bottom of your shoes, and they should be at least go get them shoe shined. Come on now.
If they need to be shined, I'm not sure that we're compatible.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
If they need to be shined, child,
yeah,
you know.
That's what I'm saying. But they should be shined. I mean,
they should already be shined, right?
Yeah. I wasn't saying to go get them shined, so they should be.
And if they're more than like 2 or 3 seasons old, then
oh my gosh. Okay.
Here she go. I'm so glad you're married. And then your husband in the damn comments down with monk straps. I'm gonna boot him out. I'm gonna block him.
He about to go pull all the monk straps out and surrounds him with them.
Oh God.
I would do that.
A man in monk straps is the Antichrist.
Oh my God.
Next time I come to DC, I'm going to pack my double monk straps.
Please.
And
why do you have that? Why do you even have that?
Sit in the living room.
So cute.
I'm going to cross my legs so you can see them.
Like I feel like a monk strap is the equivalent of a saddle shoe.
A what shoe?
A saddle shoe. A saddle shoe.
We're moving on.
What's the next question, please?
We're losing viewers because of this conversation.
Girl.
All right. So here, let me ask this question. Where was it? I just lost it. Oh, here we go. How does authenticity factor into desirability?
I mean, who got time for fake? Like, I think authenticity is so important. Like, even if your authentic self needs work, I would rather have that than have some anomalous person in my presence and I don't really know what they bring in or give me.
But you know what? I actually find that most people, maybe not most people, I find that a lot of people don't even know who they are authentically. I feel like a lot of people
I agree.
Are kind of cookie cutter. and really maybe haven't found their true selves yet. So I guess to answer the question, authenticity is a big factor, but at the same time, again, because I like to observe and just people watch, I just see so many people who just look and act the same that I'm like,
but that makes them stand out to you for the wrong reason, right?
Exactly. But I see so many people who are that example as opposed to the other example is what I'm trying to say. Like so many, I find that so many people are they just don't, I feel like they are just cookie cutter. They're not sure who they are yet. They haven't found themselves yet.
I think that you're absolutely right, TJ. Like, but I think also that that's part of what makes that sort of authenticity really special. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get that, you feel like, okay, this person, and also you have to think about the fact that people are going to have different levels of authenticity with different people, right? Because we all have a disposable veneer that we pull out or discard when we're around people we don't know or people who we are uncomfortable with. Maybe we just met them, whatever the situation may be. So it depends on how comfortable they are with themselves around you or what sort of environment they're in. But when you do get to see their authentic selves, right, then I think that's when you get to really find out how special they will, or can be in your life.
Yeah. I mean, I wish more people were just authentic from the very jump. That would save so much heartache. And you can be like, all right, you know what? Yeah, this could work.
Code switching.
What?
What is code switching?
Who said code switching?
Who said code switching? Me?
Yo, boo, your husband. No. Ronald said code switching in the comments.
I'm
assuming.
No, if people were just authentic from the start, and cut all the bullshit out from the very beginning, you can easily decide if this is something you want to be in or someone you want to be around right off the bat. And you would have a lot more happier people, a lot more happier relationships, and if you're being your authentic self from the very beginning, I think that you have less issues down the road because you pretty much laid out all your cards on the table.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Last question for the night before we wrap it up. I think it's interesting. Male gaze, masculinity amongst gay men.
Jesus Christ.
Come on, TJ. You're our expert.
How am I the expert?
How am I
the expert? Okay, first of all, my saboteur is still acting up. So hold on. But I need more to go on.
So here's the thing. I think in the gay community, we're very big on visuals. If you don't fit a certain stereotype, you're not considered masculine. It's you have a chiseled body. There's no room for unless you're into quote unquote fetishes. Bears and other people that fit into other body types outside of that full chiseled body. You know what I mean? And then the male gaze, as far as like how you look at other guys.
Also, let me add to that too, Chris. Like I was watching this video and they were talking about the male gaze for men and what looks desirable in a man. And so the guy was talking about action movies and how the hero in action movies is often portrayed as like this idealized version of a man, and they have these moments in these movies where they have like the hero action sequence and he does something heroic or he's flexing his muscles and like all that stuff, and the conversation turned to saying that those scenes are really designed for young boys to teach them what a real man should look like, and also for other men. Like this is how men would like to see themselves or imagine that they seem to anybody that would be potentially attracted to them.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to decide whether or not I agree with that analysis, specifically when women really, or women and many others have said that that's not necessarily their thing, right? But because I don't really think that for the most part women are the target audiences for action movies. That doesn't mean that they don't like them. I'm just saying that I don't think that the marketing machine has them in mind when the movies are created. But what do you think about that? Like, do you think that that is feeding into how we construct notions of masculinity in our heads? And also, when you move beyond that and you start to talk about actual life, and when you have this fetishized image of what masculinity or idealized man is, and you meet men in real life, and so is that the standard that you're judging people by? Like, is that what you see? Because I know for a fact that what Chris described in the community is absolutely correct, and it's absolutely the gold standard that absolutely nobody really has. Because when you look at those people who do have it, they're either getting it artificially or they're doing some really harmful things to themselves to maintain it.
Well, here's the other thing too. I think that those norms are starting to change. You don't see, like, quote unquote, the bears as being fetishized as much. It's becoming more mainstream. I kind of think so. I kind of think so. Everyone has different preferences. Especially, like, let's just even make this conversation a little bit bigger. Right now, transgender people are being talked about in pop culture. It's the topic of conversation when it comes to LGBTQ plus communities, and it is there's so many facets. I don't think there's a quote unquote norm anymore. All these different types of people, different body shapes, sizes. We're starting to see a lot of men even start to deconstruct what it is to be a man and what men wear. You're seeing a lot of men wear different types of clothing, like skirts and blouses, and different types of jewelry, and even how their appearance with their hairstyles. I mean, look, men are out there getting pieces now. I mean, that's not something I'm going to do, but like it's normal now. It's not frowned upon. Men are getting on BBLs. I mean, it's everybody's doing everything. So
I mean, they're doing it, but I don't know if it's not frowned upon.
They're doing them though.
True.
They're still doing it. There's always going to be that though. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is a lot. So, okay. So, masculinity amongst gay men, it's obviously a thing. You have people who are, mask for mask, so-called masculine men looking for so-called masculine men only, who proclaim that they are not at all interested in any type of feminine person or feminine presenting person, which obviously I think just kind of all boils down to patriarchy and femphobia and hatred of all things feminine and womanly and etc. And to your point, Chris, I do think slowly but surely we're moving away from that horrible mindset. I guess on a slightly different topic, as we were talking about like representation in like TV shows and stuff. So I remember having a conversation with an acquaintance. Honestly, I think it was probably like one of the last conversations with this particular acquaintance, specifically about a character on a show, Star Trek Discovery, Booker, who is, I don't know if any of the people watching watch Star Trek Discovery, but this particular character is technically he's an alien, but he's portrayed by a Black man. and he's portrayed in a way that I think is not the stereotypical Black man, and I very much appreciate it. So he is he has this ability to kind of empathize with creatures and animals, and at the same time he often has to sometimes like take a back seat to the protagonist, who is a Black woman. He very much loves that Black woman as well. He and he does this all without trepidation, which a lot of times, you know, we see men, in particular white men, but just men in general, you know, they're in the forefront, they're taking the lead, they're doing this, and you know, you have to follow them, and you know, you have to kind of defer to what their logic is, or whatever. And so we often don't see this particular type of male in media, where again, he's empathetic and he has these genuine emotions, and sometimes when some really bad shit happens, it hits him very hard, as opposed to, you know, what we see typically is an unfeeling, unemotional kind of character. So I appreciate those kinds of characters in media, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I love Star Trek Discovery so much. The other reason is that they travel on a mycelium mushroom network, which I think is just fucking brilliant. But anyway, that is so fucking brilliant to me. I've never heard something so brilliant in my life. Anyway, watch Star Trek Discovery. But yeah, I've never quite understood, going back to, you know, the whole mask for mask thing, and you know, you have to have a certain physique, you have to have a certain body. I've never quite fully understood that. It's never really been my ministry. Because my thing is like, I like men. I don't really, how you present, I don't necessarily care. Yeah, but it goes to this whole this mindset of, you know, I only like masculine presenting people, or masculine men, or blah, or no trans people, or blah 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 blah. And it is very toxic. It's extremely toxic. But again, I think we are kind of moving slowly but surely away from that, which is obviously a good thing.
Okay. Rex, you want to close us out with anything?
I think if I start talking again, I'm gonna just end up having a conversation with TJ about Star Trek, so I can just do that all not on the live.
That can be a topic. Listen, that can be a topic.
Anybody watching the new Picard?
I haven't yet, so don't talk about it.
It's actually really
I
good.
am.
It's good.
So last season.
Wait, wasn't the last season of Star Trek the last season? Like, it's
no,
over?
this season is
the last one.
It's a Picard. Yeah, it's the last
season.
Next
season of Discovery.
For Discovery too.
It's the next season.
Yeah,
it hasn't started yet, right?
It's coming out like next year.
Yeah, normally it would have come out by now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Well,
see,
we'll do a topic on
exactly. We talk about that later.
Yeah, we should definitely do a topic on that. But this has been a great conversation. I think that this conversation can actually lead to even more conversations down the road. Maybe we'll do a series on this throughout this season. But this has been really, really good, guys. Thank you guys for all those that have been joining us in the chat. Thanks. This is the second episode here on YouTube, so this has been actually kind of fun. I'm loving the format. I'm loving the conversation. I'm loving the interaction with our guests. Oh, do we have one more comment? I don't want to leave anybody behind. I think
Ronald was talking about code switching, and then Brian said he's living for Star Trek Discovery and Picard, which of course he is.
Okay.
And what about Strange New Worlds though? Are y'all watching? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it on the whole episode of Star Trek. I mean, a whole episode of this about Star Trek.
All right. So listen, before we leave, we want people to know where they can find us on social media. So Rex, where can people find you?
Well, currently, although I am in transition, you can find me at Lexington 5th or at Rags and Pieces Mag on Instagram.
Why are you on the expensive corners? That's not your ministry.
It is.
Child,
Okay.
because he gotta
I'm a high
afford the Prada shoes, child. He gotta afford the Gucci bags and the
right.
You know,
he
got expensive taste. You know, he got
Listen,
he got $500 hand soap in the kitchen. What you mean?
Listen, it's all from Chinatown. It's all bootleg.
Not Chinatown.
All right, TJ, where can people find you?
Bizarre Hodgepodge here on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, but I'm not super, well, I'm kind of active on Twitter. And bizarrehodgepodge.com. That's BZARHODGPODG.
Okay. And you guys can find me at constantly_changing the number 4 me on Instagram and all my other social medias, TikTok, Facebook, and I don't even. That's basically it. But this has been a great night, and we thank you guys for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, everybody, have a great night.
Deuces. Ooh, it gets louder. It's all in my ears. Wait, I'm a Miller Rock.